Hello YouTube! In this video, I'm going to be answering the worst question ever. And that is the question, so, tell me a little bit about yourself. I hate it. I always go blank. But this time I wrote out some things so that as you guys are watching my videos, you just know the experiences I'm coming from. Get you to know a little bit about me and the things that I'm about. I also plan to create a life planning video, I guess you would say, because you'll see my schedule is pretty crazy and it's hard to keep track of. So I'm just wanted to document how I keep it all together and the tips and tricks that I have. So stay tuned for that. That will be coming. But just a little bit about me. My name is Jen Schneider, if you didn't know that. And I am currently in college just studying elementary and special education. So the way that they have it set up in the college that I'm at is that you become dual certified. And you cannot be certified with a special education degree by itself. You have to pair it with something else. So I originally did not have the special education major declared when I first entered college, and after the first inclusion class that we had, because all gen ed teachers have to go through a course that was based on inclusion, including kids with disabilities within your class, I was like, hold on, wait. First off, I definitely feel like I need a lot more information, because I didn't feel, I mean, it was very informative, don't get me wrong, class was great, but I just felt like it wasn't enough. Like I needed more of that. I was interested in it. It sounded like so much fun. I didn't really have experiences with working with kids with disabilities yet at this point, but with the kids that I had worked with, I always loved the kids that drove everyone crazy. I mean, for lack of better terms, if they had the behavior issues or if they were a problem in class, they were my favorite. Like, I loved working with them. And it didn't mean those kids had a disability or whatever the case may be, but I always just loved the kids who were different. So I knew that this double major is something that I was interested in. So that's why I declared it. So I declared it my sophomore year, and then I started taking my classes. But with that, it is a 5-year program instead of a 4-year program, because you have to do content within special education, and then you do a whole, we call them professional semesters, and the whole professional semester is where you're in a field placement for special education, and then you're getting all of the courses like assessment of kids with disabilities and applied behavior analysis. I'm totally blanking on the last one. You do RTI project with it. What's that class called? Oh, methods and materials. Whew. Hot mess today. But yeah, so all 3 of those is and that is the semester that I'm currently in. I will soon teach after Christmas break. So I'm very excited for that. I already have my placements. Half of it will be in an elementary setting, and then the second half will be in a high school setting for special education, because our certification is K through 12. So even though I'm an elementary major, I'll be able to teach in a gen ed setting, K through 5. I'll have a special education certification certify me to teach K through 12 in special education. So that's why we have to go into a secondary placement if we are elementary, and then if we are declared a secondary major, you have to do your special education placement in elementary level. So that way you're getting the variety, and it makes sense. I get it. So with me being a full-time college student, I have also had at least 2 part-time jobs every semester that I've been in college. It's just worked out the way where I would typically work one job throughout the week and then a different job on the weekend. And I've had different jobs, but I've always, looking at it, I've always had at least 2 at the time, sometimes 3, and that's not counting babysitting, which I also did. So some of those jobs were really geared towards growing my skills as a teacher. So that's one thing about me, like as I've gotten these jobs and like decided what kinds of things I wanted to do throughout my college career, I always pinpointed back to how is this going to make me a better teacher in the future? Is it going to give me leadership skills? Is it going to give me management skills? What kinds of things is it going to give me that will help me improve? And if it didn't, wasn't really interested. So one of the first jobs that I had in college was working at an after-school program. Before and after school, really. The before school program was from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., where the kids would come if their parent had to go to work before the school day started. They would come into our program, and we would do different activities with them, and we'd give them a breakfast snack, and perfect, and then send them off to class. And then throughout the day portion, like while they were in school, I would typically go to my classes at my college. And then I worked an after-school program, which was from 2:30 to 6, and that was for the kids whose parents worked later than the school day ended. So then they would come to our program, and then their parents would come and pick them up from our program. And that job has fluctuated with me. So if I had classes on Tuesday and Thursdays at 8 a.m., I would only work Monday, Wednesday, Friday before school program. Or if I had late classes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I only worked an after-school program Tuesday, Thursday. So it's always just morphed with my schedule, and I've maintained that job throughout my whole college career. The second part-time job that I had, I didn't get until I think it was my junior year. I think I've been there for about 2 years now, but it's actually a teacher supply store. And that one, I primarily work just on the weekends. So I'll do my after-school program throughout the week, and then my parent-teacher supply store on Saturday and Sunday. And that one, even though it's retail, I don't know how much teaching experience I'm getting, but I'm surrounded by teacher stuff, and it's given me ideas, and I've been able to pick up things, because one of the benefits of working there is we get a discount. And also, anything that is half price or on sale, we're one of the first ones who are in the store to see it. So we're able to snag it up first before anybody else gets it, which is kind of cool. So that is how I've collected the mass amount of stuff you see behind me. I'll talk about this room in a second. But I've collected a ton of things and materials from there. And it's also been very helpful because I'm able to look through the workbooks and purchase them if I want to use them in any lesson. So that's been a fun job to get some of my materials and ideas and inspiration. Another job that I just currently had over this summer was working at a summer camp with kids with disabilities. So this one was so much fun. I was a camp counselor lead, and I had a small group of 10 to 12-year-olds. And the cool thing about this camp is that they mixed everyone's abilities together. So the only qualification to go to the camp is that you had a disability of some kind. It could be minor, it could be major, more severe, it didn't matter. We were all together. It was a very inclusive environment, and we just had so much fun. Like the different experiences that we had. There were activities planned throughout the entire day that went throughout a weekly theme, and I was responsible for getting the group to each of those activities and getting them engaged, making modifications if necessary or accommodations to the materials so that they were able to participate in it. Some students had physical disabilities and some were more intellectual, and so it just depended. I got to do all of it for different kids in different environments, and it was awesome. And then I've also worked in some food service jobs, which props to anybody who's still in food service. I'm so thankful that I am not in it anymore. It is just a whole entity. If you haven't worked in food service before you graduate, you need to, just to know what they go through, because it's craziness. It's kind of giving me some perspective on some parents I might have to encounter in the future, because you really have to work with them. And then also, while I was at college, I was an orientation leader for one of the summers. So that one really gave me experience with working with my peers and being a leader with people who are similar to my age. For kids, it's super easy for me to kind of take the lead and show them around, but it's a little bit more challenging when there are same age peers. And I don't know why, I don't know why it's so difficult for me, but it is a challenge for me. So that one, I got to grow my skills in working with people of similar age. So that's all my job stuff. Also, in addition to that, I am in a sorority. that is at my college. We don't have a house or anything, but it does take up a lot of our time. For anybody who is in a sorority, you get it, you know. Lots of different experiences that come with that. A lot of leadership, a lot of time management skills, social skills. There's just so many different things that you can learn from being in a sorority. And I had 2 positions within that. One year I was the director of scholarship, which was in charge of getting all of the girls' grades and making sure that we were boosting that GPA and implementing scholarship plans to allow sisters to study together, and just really working as a team to make sure that we kept bumping up our GPA each year. And then the second position that I held was the director of new member education, which was so much fun. I got to teach all of our new members all about the sorority that I'm in, and I created PowerPoints, and I don't know, mine were probably pretty cheesy because of course I have the elementary brain, so we played Jeopardy with buzzers and we did Kahoots and all kinds of things like that. But I got to take my knowledge from my sorority and fill in all of our new members, which was a super cool experience. So I'm in my last year of college, as I said before, and before this year started, my boyfriend and I actually got our own apartment. So I'm currently living on my own, well, with him, so we are living on our own. And you know how I said before about my little space here, we have a 2-bedroom apartment, and he's been generous enough to let me take over our entire 2nd bedroom. So it has become, I call it my teacher room, but it's my office, my Hot Mess Express sanctuary, really. All of these boxes are labeled with stuff that I've gotten from the teacher supply store or been given to me by others, or that I've purchased myself. They're all here, so when it is time for me to teach lessons that I've done in my field experiences, as well as what I will do in student teaching and in my real life career, everything's all here good to go until I get to put it into a classroom. Right now it's camping out, but it's still accessible, so when I am teaching those lessons, I've got it all ready to go. So that, I think, is all I have for you all. That is me in a nutshell, doing a little bit of everything. So I hope that gave you a little insight on what I'm about and the types of experiences you'll be hearing as I'm creating these videos. But thanks everybody for watching, and until next time, see ya.